Is this a real song you're doing? We could make it a wonderful song. This song could be about anything. It could be about all of the people on a bus.
It's that Tifo Football Show, starring JJ Bull and Alex Stewart, and your host, Joe Devine.
Did you almost fall over?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Hello and welcome to the Tifo Football Show, the show in which we answer the questions that you have asked us. And boy, you just keep asking them, which is great. Today, I will tell you before. If you want to ask a question, you can do so in the comments below, or tweet at us at @TifoFootball_, or indeed tweet at us directly. Send us emails, stalk us outside our homes, whatever it takes to get your question answered. But for now, with no further ado, let us begin. Question number one comes from Warren Yates. Warren Yates asks, with the new loan regulations coming in next season, which players of Chelsea's loan hoard should be sold, which should be loaned out again, and which should be kept and or integrated into the team, assuming that their ownership solution is found? JJ Bull.
Let's do it. So Chelsea have had heaps of players out on loan over the last few seasons. They've done that to get these youngsters they bring in a chance to gain experience, so maybe they'll be ready for the first team, or so they get to a point where they can sell them at a profit. That's what they've done. But there are new rules coming in from FIFA for all clubs around the world where that's less easy to do because you're not allowed to. They're going to reduce the amount of players you're allowed to have in your team out on loan. The players who they might keep, one that we think might possibly be there in the first team squad next season is Armando Broja. He's been on loan at Southampton where he's been okay. He scored about 6 league goals, been all right. His statistics off FBref make him look like he's not particularly great, especially at things like assisting teammates or passing the ball, something you want to be able to do in a high-level club. He is good at his defensive work, but these are probably tilted. Might be stylistic stats because he plays under Ralph Hasenhüttl, which of course is a very demanding, high-pressing kind of coach. And Broja's been okay, really good at dribbling, will shoot it every opportunity rather than pass it, but surrounded by better players, he might be a better sort of option for Chelsea. Perhaps if they sold Lukaku, we don't know what their situation is going to be like yet with the transfers. But another player we should look at is a young player who's coming through called Levi Colwill, this guy. Now he is a left-sided centre-back. He's been on loan at Huddersfield, played a lot of games this season, done very well. He's very highly thought of at Chelsea, and he could be a direct replacement for Antonio Rudiger, who is going to leave. And stylistically, he's quite a good fit. He is able, and constantly does, arrive in these sorts of positions like Rudiger does, often gets into the opposition third, because he's not only a centre-back who can play as part of a back three or a two, as he's done for Huddersfield this season, he's also able to play as a left-back, where he can get into these sorts of positions here. Very useful player. He's thought to be ahead of Malang Sarr already in the Chelsea picking order. He's 19 at the time of filming. He can only get better. But another player who we'll almost certainly see in the Chelsea team next season is your favourite and mine, Conor Gallagher. This is what the real question's about. Will Conor Gallagher play for Chelsea next season? I think he might. Thomas Tuchel has talked about him all season long in various press conferences and things, and has compared him to N'Golo Kanté in the way that he plays. And we can see that things that Conor Gallagher is good at Crystal Palace this season. He's actually a very attacking player. You think of him as a defensive midfielder, a ball winner, but he's played a lot for them as a 10, and we can see his non-penalty goals here very high for a midfielder. Creates a lot of shot-creating actions, also dribbles quite a lot, has a lot of touches in the attacking penalty area, and receives a lot of progressive passes. He's getting into positions in the attacking third, which allows him to help moves progress and turn into goals and chances on goal, which when we compare to N'Golo Kanté, we see the stylistic differences. Now Kanté is just one of the world's best midfielders still, he is still up there, but you see Gallagher is here with his attacking things. But Tuchel has been effusive in his praise for Gallagher's work rate and ball-winning capabilities. He would probably serve as a sort of substitute replacement for Kanté in different games, but Kanté is better at everything, including carries and dribbles and progressive passes. Just a better player than Gallagher at the moment. You've also got players like Billy Gilmore, who might be around, is thought not to be physically ready for it yet. Ethan Ampadu is likely to leave, doesn't have the physicality for that particular position. And there's a few more. That Batshuayi, he's still there, he's probably going to go. Danny Drinkwater's contract's up, he's definitely gone. There's a few, you don't have to worry about them. These are the three. That's what we think the answer to that question is.
Well, there we go, thanks JJ. Conor Gallagher, probably the most interesting of the bunch there for me. Do you think he could have an impact as a sub-player?
I'm going to assume I've already said that in the piece that I've just done. What do you think?
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I do. I think the thing with Gallagher is, like, where does he go? Is he a Conte replacement because of this high pressing style and ability to push forwards? Is he a more creative player? Is he potentially vying with Ruben Loftus-Cheek for a more advanced role, or is he sitting back in the double pivot? I don't know. Does Thomas Tuchel?
Maybe he does. I would hope so. But anyway, we'll find out soon. Thanks for the question, Warren Yates. You've been answered.
The Tifo Football Show.
Question number 2. Question number 2 comes to us from SK. SK asks, well, I recently noticed that Thiago Alcantara has surprisingly few assists this season, and his career highs with Bayern and totals and blah, 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 basically not particularly impressive, is what SK says. So what is the reason for this, is our question, and what makes him such a special passer if he doesn't assist? Alex Stewart.
There are various reasons for this, and it's a lot to do with how Liverpool play and Thiago's personal technique, but I will take this to the board.
Can I preempt what you're going to say?
Yeah, if you like.
Not his job, pass before the assist, and, different kind of player. Those sorts of things? With more impressive words.
Basically, yeah. Do you want me to still
No, yeah, go
do
ahead.
it?
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thiago Alcantara is a really good footballer. Now, the question posits why, if we see him as a creative player, does he not contribute in terms of assists and goals too much? And that's partly because creativity is not just that pass that leads to the goal. Obviously, creativity starts further back, and you can talk about creative centre-backs, creative defensive midfielders. Let's look at how that applies to Liverpool specifically. What we know is that Liverpool's 3 key assist providers this season are Andy Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Mo Salah. These are the players that Thiago is looking to unleash. And what we can see is that Alexander-Arnold likes to occupy this kind of right half space here. Henderson will push up a little bit. Salah sometimes will stay wide, sometimes he'll tuck in and they'll reverse like that. Robertson looks to get much higher on this side. And what Liverpool like to do is they like to overload one side or the other, and then what's really crucial is the ability of Liverpool to switch the play. Sometimes this will come from Van Dijk, but Thiago really is the crucial guy here. So let's say Liverpool are building up like this, so Fabinho's played this pass in here, players are looking to try and get into here. Robertson's advanced, Thiago's there, right? He's spreading the play out, he's pulling players across to this side, that makes sense. Now Robertson can either do this, or he can play a pass back to Thiago, who's advanced a little bit further. That allows the rest of Liverpool to squeeze up. And then because these guys have moved across here, someone like Alexander-Arnold is in this space. So Thiago is really important for Liverpool's ability to take play one way and then take it the other. That's because he has this fantastic range of passing. He can take a pass here and then hit it with the outside of his foot so that it curves round onto this side. There's another thing that's quickly worth looking at as well, which is that as Liverpool like to build up, positions probably relatively similar here like this, they like to change the angle of attack. So Thiago will play a pass into Firmino like this, move slightly across, and as players get drawn towards this, his new position opens up passing angles. And so he's then able to knock one out this way, maybe towards Robertson. He can play a pass into this area for Alexander-Arnold, who's going to come and pull it back here. He is the facilitator. He's the person who knits everything together, and he allows Liverpool's more creative players, that's purely in terms of numbers, not in terms of ability, to then be able to unlock defenses. Thiago's technical ability, his reading of the game, and his occupation of space is what allows Liverpool to find space elsewhere, change the focus of the play, switch it from one side to the other. He's the metronome in the middle that allows the rest of it to function. That's why he's a creative player, even if his assists column doesn't necessarily show it.
I like Thiago. I like Thiago.
Say that again.
Do you remember when Pep said,
Say again you like
Thiago or nothing?
Just say one more time you like Thiago.
What he said.
One more time.
Remember that?
Just say it again.
Pep said, Thiago or nothing.
Just say one more time you like
Thiago or bust.
Or chocolate.
One more time.
Thiago or chocolate, Joe?
Because I was interrupting you at the beginning. Just say it one more time.
Thiago on the back of an eagle.
The thing is, the problem is that I was talking when JJ started to talk. So if you just start
gonna do
again by
something
saying,
I like Thiago.
Let's move on. You've been answered, I think.
The Tifo Football Show.
Question number 3. Question number 3. Coming in from Snoop Frog. What's the best pub in London to watch football in? Now, I think I know the answer to this one. Let's find out.
Come on down to the Old Red Lion Theatre pub in sunny Angeltown, London. It's the best pub in London to watch the football. It has everything you could possibly need. Chairs, tables, a dog, screens, beer, more beer, other drink items, and a garden where you might run into friendly Uncle Damien.
I told you to stop.
But there's even more. The Red Lion is full of history. And you can get a drink while you're there from friendly Stan.
Oh, I'm Stan.
Thanks, Stan. So get on down to the Old Red Lion Theatre pub in Angel, London. What do you say, Uncle Damien?
The Old Red Lion is the best pub to watch sport in London.
That was a vibe.
That's correct!
I
Well
like
done.
the Old Red.
Well done, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Do head down to the Old Red Lion there. They need your support. You've been answered, Snoop Frog. Question number 4. Question number 4 comes from James Bintang Alexander. James Bintang Alexander asks, why are Palace doing so much better than expected this season? Now, do you know who is the best person to answer that question, gang? Of course, it's Matt Woosnam, the Athletic's very own Crystal Palace correspondent. Matt, take it away.
And also, I'm here. And did you know that Crystal Palace, who are meant to be better this season, they actually have the same number of points this season after 33 games as they did last season. So, are they actually better? What do you think, Matt Woosnam?
Palace are definitely better than they were last season. People perceived that it would be a disastrous season, and they were unfairly maligned when they brought in Patrick Vieira as manager with no managerial experience and allowed 9 senior players to depart over the summer. So it was a massive rebuilding job.
Right? Yeah.
But the recruitment has been excellent. They've brought in a new profile of player, a much more young, dynamic, energetic style of player. Michael Olise has come in from Reading for £8 million. Conor Gallagher on loan from Chelsea in the midfield. Mark Gay, again, permanent signing from Chelsea in defence, loves to bring the ball out from the back. Joachim Andersen works perfectly alongside him by playing long balls, long diagonal balls perfectly, usually out to the left for Saha, and also defence splitting balls as well, and that's really helped Palace.
But they're more dynamic, they've got more energy, which means they can play in a different way. So Hodgson's team before were very compact and defensive and sat deep, whereas this team presses high, and we see the numbers as well, that they have far more pressures in the opposition half. They try to win the ball back far more often, but they also have more of the ball. So players like Gay and Anderson allow them to do that. And they have, for example, this season attempted 487.8 passes per 90 at this stage of the season, compared to last season, which is 397.1. That's a huge difference, and we can see even more stylistic differences if we look at all the other data that I've stolen from the internet. They've scored more goals this season, which is good, and also they've conceded far fewer goals, which is very good. And all the underlying stats that we looked at suggest to me, as not a fan, that they are a better team than last season. But the points are exactly the same as last season. So, are they better?
They are better, but they're also just different. It's a much more entertaining team to watch. A young, vibrant, dynamic team, and it feels like it's the start of something really good for Palace.
Are they going to win the league?
Maybe not.
Thank you very much, Matt. And indeed, of course, thanks to all of our contributors for today's show, including Alex Stewart, JJ Bull.
Yes!
Once again for Matt Woosnam. Is anyone else in this episode? Here leaving you with a special thought and question for you to answer in the comments below. Do let us know what you think about this one, and maybe indeed even the two of you here. Now, would you rather have a fox outside your window, screeching as they do, sounding like a, terrible fight is happening outside every evening between the hours of 11 and 2 in the morning? Very loud. Or would you rather, once a month, go to a busy area in your local town, city, and scream like a fox for 5 minutes nude?
Yeah, that one.
That one?
That one.
Once a month?
Yeah.
For the rest of your life?
kind of do that already.
Well, Alex is on one side. JJ, what about you there? Well, that's all we've got time for
No,
on
I want
tonight's
to
show.
answer.
But thanks so much for all the people that asked us questions, and thanks to all the people that continue to ask us questions. Do also you be involved yourself.
Could I be
Participate.
dressed as a fox?
Listen,
To
we'll be
screech
back
like
next
it?
week
I would do
to
that.
do all sorts of more of the same thing again. But for now, from Alex Stewart, from JJ Bull, from the producers here, and from myself, Joe Devine. See you again. Ta-ra. Wave.
Screech like a fox in a fox outfit.
It's a little ears.
Yeah. Tails from Sonic is a fox, isn't he? But he's not very aggressive. He doesn't screech.
He's not a fox.
And they could have made that a character trait of him that in the game.
Tails. No, Tails isn't. Knuckles is.
He's an echidna.
Echidna.
He's an echidna.
Echidnas are cool.
It's a marsupial.
I think I gave one of my echidnas to a family member.
Oh my god.
What noises of probably is quite high, isn't it?
It's like. It's like that.
No, that's more of the bird noise.
Every time it
That's quite good.
Do it again.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do enjoy Tifo, then you'll probably also like The Athletic. If you watch our tactics videos, you should go and read Michael Cox. If you're into data, read Mark Carey. And if you're into transfers, it's David Ornstein. Plus, if you're a fan of any Premier League team, then there's a journalist dedicated to you, and you can try it for free for 30 days now by clicking the link in the description.